Brother Sewing and Crafting family. I'm Angela Wolf, and I'm a Brother brand ambassador, and we are taking over the Brother Sewing and Crafting YouTube and Facebook pages today with day 3 of more announcements of new products that came out last week. So today, we've got another 2 fabulous educators and ambassador, actually, that are going to be showing off something new about a scan and cut. And you remember that machine we saw yesterday that did just embroidery? Well, today, it's going to get even better. So say hi, say where you're from if you've never been here. So what we're going to do here is we're going to show you the products. They have some samples to show you. It's going to be fantastic. And you can ask questions. So we'll take little breaks to ask questions, and you have to ask what you want to know, and then you can go to the dealer and get more. So let's see. I got Cathy and Cindy Hogan here. Come on up. Cathy, Gandy, Cindy Hogan, welcome to the party. I was like, what do you do after you ask questions? Well, then you go to the dealer and buy it and test it out yourself. So yes. Cathy, Cindy, so great to see you.
You too.
So
I think I've got a new name. I think I'm going to call myself an Edubassador.
Edubassador. There you go. Is there a hashtag for that, Cindy?
I don't know how to actually, because I float on both sides.
There you go. Oh, yes, Sherry, you are going to get to see the rotary blade today. And you also, next Tuesday, mark your calendar, Cindy's coming back on with a super cool project with the scan and cut using the rotary blade as well. So you'll get a little bit of 2 days of that. All right, and Cathy, let us know what machine are you going to be showing us today? Could you just tell us the name and give us like a little excerpt, and then Cindy, you give us an excerpt, and then we'll let Cathy take it away.
I am going to be showing the NQ3700D. Yesterday, you've seen the NQ1700E, which is the embroidery only. And with the NQ3700D, it's sewing and embroidery, plus it has Disney in it.
Oh, we love the Disney.
Yes, we do.
So I know a lot of people yesterday saw that machine, and then Jerry had a machine. So they were saying Jerry's did just sewing, and then the other machine did just embroidery. So you could have 2 machines next to each other. But for those that want it all in one package, kind of,
yes.
Not exactly the same machines, but if you wanted that embroidery one where it can sew as well, Cathy's going to be showing you that. And Cindy, you're going to be showing us a new scan and cut. Tell us about it.
I'm going to talk today about the SDX330D. Jennifer on Tuesday talked about was it Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday talked about the SDX325. So we're going to talk SDX330D today, the Disney model. So we have a new cosmetic on it. It's kind of cool. And it comes with this little special guy. So, and this is the bomb. I will say the rotary blade is the bomb. So.
Oh, there's a lot of buzz going around about that, by the way.
It's amazing what you're able to cut with it. Truly.
Oh, I'm very excited to see this. So we'll start with Cathy, but before we do that, I just want to remind you to visit your brother dealer. And many of you asked, when are these available? When can you order? Now you can go there now. Any of these machines that we've been showing you this week, plus you can always go there and play around. Don't forget about my favorite machine, the Luminaire. But there's 0% financing right now until the end of the month, depending on how much you spend. You can talk to your dealer about that. And they also have some fabulous bundle packages. So when you go to the dealer, they'll tell you what they might be throwing in with the machine or what it comes with. So there's a lot going on. I always say this is the best time of year to buy a new machine or upgrade.
Things should start rolling in towards the end of the month.
Which would be perfect. So Cathy, why don't we start with you? You want to show us some samples and what you have for us with the sewing and embroidery?
All right. Well, first we'll be showing the sewing side, and I wanted to, it has the AHA feature, which you heard about yesterday, and what that does is it changes the pressure on the foot as you go over multiple layers. And so I was able to do this wallet with all these pockets and have wonderful stitching without the machine giving me any problems at all. It changed the pressure on the foot and went from one to the other with no problem, and I will demo that in a while. And then I did the embroidery, and I want to show you the frame identification view. So then we've heard a lot about my custom stitch, and I wanted to show you a stitch that I created with my custom stitch. Very, very simple. It's nothing overly exciting, but I have some sewing fabric that I want to do a quilt with, and I wanted to do a stitch to applique the binding on with. So I came up with one that looks like a ruler. a yardstick, whatever. But you can see that I have my inch mark and my 1/8, 1/4, 5/8, a 1/2 inch on up. But that was so much fun, and I think it's going to look really, really nice. And it's going to be a stitch that nobody else is going to have unless you create one yourself.
That is really
so cute, Kathy.
I love that.
What a great use of that feature, because I don't think I would have ever thought of that one. I love it.
Yeah, it's just something that when you look at your fabric or you look at something, you think, well, I would rather have just a little bit of a different applique stitch. And it just is so easy to do. It really is a lot of fun.
That's cute. And I think my custom stitch kind of gets left on the side if people forget about it. I've used it to make little fish, to have a little fish stitch, which was really not fish sticks. Fish stitch. Get that right. But you can do so much with that. That is just adorable. So we're looking forward to seeing all of this.
Right. And then I wanted to show you that magnetic flat frame that Sarah showed yesterday, but I put a baby bib in here. And right here, I don't know if you can see, but this is Velcro to close the bib. And I went ahead and just put it together with the Velcro and then put the magnet on there. And it holds it. It's amazing how many thicknesses this will hold.
Wow.
It's really amazing. And then when you take this off, now you can see that this isn't exactly, we're used to having our hoops centered. Well, this is off a little bit because of the magnets. So your center marks are marked on, and I don't know if you can see or not, but there's arrows on here that shows you where the center is. So it's so easy to put your fabric and your stabilizer down and get it centered with those lines. You just mark your lines on your project and line it up with those arrows. And it's just fantastic. It just goes together really easily. And it just holds amazing.
That's really a cute thing too. That magnetic hoop, everybody was pretty excited about that yesterday, knowing that it can work on other machines too. Hey, Kathy, will you just check your camera? You just went.
I don't know what happened to me.
It's like, okay, is this my eyes or Kathy just go blur?
This is the
autofocus on it went.
I don't know what happened. That's never happened before, so I don't know. Maybe I got too close to it. Stop it. Should we just go to the other? I'll go to the machine now.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Okay. All right.
Otherwise, your filter's killing us.
And I know that when she comes back, it's going to be just great. But also, it was like, I have to put my glasses on to read the questions, but I was like,
I know I'm wearing my old glasses, not my new ones, but really.
Hey, Joanne, I know Kathy has some very cute things on there. Everybody's saying so cute. Now, don't forget, as she shows this, ask your questions and we'll take a break for it. So she's back. Let's see. Oh, and we can see you, Kathy.
All right. How's that one?
That looks wonderful.
Okay.
Oh, that machine looks beautiful.
Oh, it is an amazing machine. It has several high-end features. This is the new dynamic walking foot that I also wanted to talk about. So this is a low shank machine. So this is a walking foot for a low shank machine. And you can see that this goes over the needle bar and it walks the upper fabric. And you can see, well, maybe you can't see, but these teeth on here are extremely strong. So you not only can go forward, you can go backwards with this foot and get an amazing stitch. So this is an amazing foot. And here is these right here. You have the 1/4 inch and the stitch in the ditch and the quilting guide. So that's an extra pack, an extra accessory, but it's just an amazing foot and will do a lot for you. So just a little plug for the dynamic walking foot. So now I want to show, well, of course you have the pivot feature. We all love our pivot feature. So as you sew, and then when you stop, the needle goes down and the foot comes up and you can pivot however you want. So now I want to show the AHA feature. This is a feature, it's automatic height adjustment. So what the machine is going to do is it changes the pressure on the presser foot by the thickness of the fabric. So I can come up here and I'm going to give myself about 3 layers here. And then I'm going to just press start. I have my auto presser foot down, so all I have to do is press start and it will start sewing. And you see how that foot always stays flat. It used to be that when we were going over a seam, the foot would do this, and just the back of the foot would be hitting the fabric, so you'd have teeny, teeny, teeny stitches. It would get on top and be flat, and then you get decent stitches, and then at the end it would do like this, and you get one long stitch right off. But with the AHA feature, it changes the pressure on the foot, so it will go up and down instead of aiming up and down. So the foot actually goes up and down. So it is absolutely amazing.
That is awesome.
I'm sorry?
I said, that is awesome. In fact, I think yesterday Jerry was showing that feature as well. And it's amazing how it can go from like thicknesses, different fabrics, pleats, everything, and doesn't have to do anything. And you still have that black button on the foot if you have other problems too. So you got like 2 ways to make sure that you're
right. Right. So
I don't know if y'all caught this or not. She said auto foot down. That is now on that machine, along with AHA and pivot. I'm in love.
Exactly.
Great features.
So one thing about the pivot feature, and well, it also has, I love the way Brother lets us customize our machines for how we sew. If I want to lower the foot here, I can lower the foot here. If I want to use my lever back here, I can use my lever. If I want to just push the start button and start sewing, I can also do that. So I have my choice of customizing my machine for how I want to sew for my project. And I sew different ways for different projects. So I just love how they let you do that. So right now I have the end foot on, and instead of changing to my 1/4 inch foot, which I should probably do, I'm going to come into my settings and I'm going to change my stitch width to 7.0 and say okay. Now when I use the edge of the foot, I'm going to get my 1/4 inch. So I'm going to, and I'm sitting off to the side, so don't expect this to be great. So I'm going to go ahead and start sewing. And then I'm going to stop.
Cathy, we always call this the yoga sewing when you're leaning over a camera to do it. Kind of like.
Can you see me going sideways there?
The stitch looks great.
So now I'm going to go ahead and start again. I'm just going to push the start button and off I go. So that's one excellent piece of the pivot feature. I can just keep sewing and just adding my next piece. And so now it's connected. So now I would take it to my ironing board and I would iron one way and one the other and line them back up. Press my seam like that and go ahead and start sewing again. And go over my seam there with no problem. And it's not lined up, but that's okay. I think you'll forgive me. And go ahead and cut. And I have a block done.
Oh my word.
Just that easy.
That was in like 3 seconds.
Exactly. So you just string piece along and then you cut it at the end and then keep the two connected and just turn them and there you go. You've got your block.
Hey, Cathy, while you're there, someone was mentioning something about the green button. And when you press that when you were sewing, they want to know, can you also use this for can you also have a foot pedal plugged in as well? Exactly.
What I do is if you don't want to press button sew, and I'm doing that because I don't know why, it's easier at times. But I go ahead and I tie my foot control on my cord. And when I want to use the foot control, I plug it in. And when I don't want it, I just unplug it. But it's always there, easy to access. So yes, you can sew either way, with the foot pedal or without.
I think that's such a great feature as well.
You can control your speed here with the start-stop button, and then your foot control. If you have it all the way up, then when you press hard, you're going to go all the way fast. But you have a little more control with your speed on your foot control.
Definitely.
So you have a lot of decorative stitches. You have my custom stitch here. So this is where you would design your stitch, and it really is quite easy to do. Let's go back. I go back a page and I'm back here. You have all kinds of editing features, so I can pick a stitch, and if I want to add a stitch to it, I can add a stitch to it, and I can continue on and have as many stitches together as I want. And then if I don't like that, I can just delete. You have your right and left shift. You have just a lot of editing features with your decorative stitches. So also a new icon on here is the wireless icon. Now, why do I need wireless on my sewing side? Because I send designs from Design Database Transfer to my embroidery. But if this has an exclamation point on it, you know that there is an update available for you on the Brother Solution website. So you'll go to the website, put the update on a stick, bring it to your machine, and turn your machine on and update your machine. So I don't have to go searching for those updates anymore. I have something to remind me, because if I have to search, it may never get done.
This is one of my favorite things. I think I would probably rate as one of the worst person to remember to do the updates. I never think of it.
Well, you don't go looking for them. It's finding me, so that's good. You need to come find me. I'm not going to go searching.
Right. And keep asking your questions, guys. As soon as she's finished giving the tutorial, we'll go through and answer a lot of those too.
All right. Let me go ahead and zoom in, and we'll go to embroidery.
Okay. So while she's going to go zoom in, I'll take her out for a second so everybody doesn't get seasick. So, hey, Cindy, just a couple of these questions you can help answer. Well, we both can answer it, actually. There was someone that wanted to know a little bit more. Does this model, and I think you were on here yesterday as well, does this model let you start and lower your foot? I'm like reading the spell check. I got it, Debbie. So like yesterday's model, where when you start and stop, it has the automatic.
Yes, so it has pivot and it has press to go on it. You do have to activate that feature in the settings, but you just press your foot pedal, foot control, and take off. So I mean, they really did a nice job.
Yeah, either or, and that's such a great feature as well. In fact, there's so many new features on this machine that we have on the high-end machines. This is a wow factor, definitely a wow factor. All right, Cathy, I see you. Let me bring you back up.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. So in the machine, there are 313 embroidery designs, including the 140 frame patterned combinations, 13 alphabets. There's 2 new here. And with this one, we have a new large alphabet. We only had this one before. Now we have this new large alphabet. And in this section, we have a brand new category, and that's the crown category. And if you look, we have 30 designs here, and there's a lot of large designs here. They're just wonderful. One that Sarah showed you, the small llamas. We have this huge llama in here that's just really cute. I haven't sewn him out yet, but.
Oh my gosh. So Cathy, yesterday, Sarah showed those on the towel with the little no problema. That was the cutest thing I've ever seen. These are adorable.
Yes, they are. They're very cute. So a lot of these are large designs. And if you could continue to scroll, one thing that's become very popular now is the all over quilting. And I do have an all over quilt done, and I'll show it after I'm done here. So this here is a design. So there's 10 quilting designs, and 5 of them are all over quilting. Now, one thing with the all over quilting, now this really doesn't have a connection. A lot of them connect from one to the other. This you lay down and you just sort of put it close together. And I'll show you I'll show you the other one that I did. So if you go to set and edit end, you have this feature right here. Now this isn't new. This is something we've always had, but we don't use a whole lot. You can see that it wants to start sewing in the center. But I know that I want to connect to my next pattern up in the upper left-hand corner. So if I push this button here, my needle will go up to that corner and I will say, okay, and I can see I can move my design to fit with my last pattern very easily. And my start point is up there, so my needle is where it needs to be, so I can do that. And it's just really nice because if I go to embroidery and I go to stitch +1 and say, okay, I can no longer move my design around because it already thinks I've started sewing. So it says you can't move it after you start sewing. You just can't do that. So then you'd have to go back to 0 and say, okay, and then start moving it again. So with this feature here, where you can press your start position, it really is very nice. So I'm going to say okay to that, and I'm going to go back to home. So I'm going to go back here. There's another feature in here that I really like, and it's called frame identification view. So I'm going to pick the Disney designs, and I'm going to pick Modern Mickey. Now, when you look at these, I don't know what size any of these designs are. So if I want something that's a 4x4 or less, I'm not sure which one of these designs that I can pick to fit my area. So on that little wallet, I knew that I needed a 4x4 design or smaller to fit in my area. So I'm going to come here, and I have my 4x4 inch hoop picked, and I have my embroidery frame identification view, and I'm turning it on and saying okay. Now, do you see how the first 2 designs are grayed out? That means that they're larger than 4x4 and they won't fit my area. So I can scroll on and I can see that these 2 are too large. Now he would be fine. So it's really a nice feature so that you'll know which design will fit in your area. So I'm going to pick a Mickey and set him. And then I'm going to add another one. Now you can see I have my 4x4 inch hoop here, and I can't get my Mickey out of there. So if I want to put them in the corners and put a big design in the middle, I'm going to put Mickey in the corner and put a big design in the middle, I need to take that off. So I'm going to come back to my settings and I'm going to turn that off and say okay. Now I can move those wherever I want. And then do edit end and go to embroidery. And once I get to embroidery, I see that I have 10 thread changes. Well, if I could lower that, I would really like to, because that means I have to change my thread 10 times. So I'm going to go back a page, and a new feature on this machine is color sort. So I'm going to push color sort and go back to embroidery. And it says I still have 10 thread changes, but it's grouped like colors. So now it's going to sew both faces, so that's just 1 thread change. So I'll have 5 thread changes instead of 10, which is really going to save a lot of time.
That is usually a bonus.
It definitely is a bonus. So it really is an amazing machine and does a lot of wonderful things. And it's just a midline machine with a lot of wonderful features. If you're looking for a machine, this one is amazing. It has a 6x10, and I can show you, I have the all over quilt that I can show you after I'm done here. and it just is absolutely amazing. And 6x10 is a nice large size.
So Cathy, can you zoom out on your screen just a little bit so that they can see the settings icon? That's where you go to turn on all of the settings she was talking about.
Okay, let me go zoom out a little bit.
Get that on there. I was just reading that question too, so.
Okay, can you see it now?
Yes. Oh, that took it away.
All right, so this is page back right here. So I go back a page.
So if you all look at the bottom, I know that the screen's a little dark because of the machine is dark, but if you look down at the bottom, you'll see her hands.
Yeah, this is an arrow back. So I can go back a page. It's telling me to cancel. So if I pick here and pick this, and I want to go back and pick other ones, I can just go page back.
And someone asked also, could you just show one more time how to choose what size hoop you have?
Oh, okay. Yes, okay. So I'm going to come into my settings, which is down below. It's looks like a page.
Actually, you know what? Let me bring this up here. Now we can see it better. Here we go. Go ahead. Do that one more time.
So it's this one, but right here. This is my settings right here.
Okay.
And so I have my 4x4 picked, and I'm going to turn that on. So now anything, and look at this category, they're mostly going to be grayed out. So I'm going to, I have 8 pages here. So this is my page button to go forward. This goes back a page. So I'm going to scroll forward here, and I don't think I'm going to I have no 4x4 or less in this category. So I'm going to go back a page and go back and come into Mickey. And I'll go back here, and you can see that those 2 are grayed out. So these 2 will fit in my 4x4. So now if I'm done with that, then if I turn it off and come back, say okay, and then come back here, the crown category will all show up. None of them are grayed out now because they're all 6x10 or smaller. Is that what they want to see?
Yes.
Yes,
That
ma'am.
was great.
Yeah, so it's really nice because on my wallet here, I knew I needed a 4x4 design here because I wanted to put a little something over here. So I couldn't have anything larger to fit on here, so I could scroll through and find something that was 4x4 or less on my machine without having to keep picking them, because you can't tell by this what size that is. So until you touch it. And so you're touching all designs trying to figure out which one to use.
Right. And while you're in the embroidery side, before you go any further, there's been a couple questions asking, can you resize any of these designs in this machine?
I'm sorry?
Can you resize designs? And of course, it depends
Yes.
on the design.
You can resize, but it does not recalculate the stitches. You can size up 10% or up 20% or down 10%.
Perfect.
So if I go to set here, I have my move, size, and rotate. I can change my colors, mirror image. These are for fonts. And then when you come to edit in, you can still move and rotate and do your color sort.
Perfect. And this has been on there for a while, so it's not one of the newest features, but when somebody asks that, I'm like, hey, just in case you're new to embroidery, of course you can. Now, you can't usually change the Disney designs, but most of the designs in there you can.
Right, yeah. Oh, and one other thing real quick, and well, I've changed it away from sewing, but you were talking about threading needles yesterday. So on the shank of your foot, there's a white sticker. Let me see if I can move that over. Do you see this white sticker on the shank of your foot?
Right.
When you lower your foot, that white is there for a reason. It's there so you can see the eye of the needle and thread it.
Okay. I never knew that. I just thought it was part of the design. Really?
Exactly. It's great for when you're using a large needle or an extra small needle, a twin needle, a wind needle. I mean, it used to be for any machine because it's been on there forever.
Yeah, I thought it was just a design. No, I didn't know it had a purpose.
But when you lower the foot, you can see the eye of the needle, and that's what it's there for.
I'm with you, April. I had no clue. I learn something new on these shows every day.
We
So
do
is there any
indeed.
questions while I'm at the machine, or?
This one has an automatic needle threader, someone asked.
It has the advanced needle threader. So as I put this here, I push this button on the side and it threads the needle. It does not have the button, but all I have to do is press down and it threads.
Awesome. Everybody's saying, I never knew that. I know that. I think, you know what? Forget the whole day. That was the lesson for the day.
Another nice feature that they did for this machine that is really nice is that they've changed the faceplate here. They've cut it down, and so it doesn't come out as far, so you have a better view of your needle. It's really nice to have a much better view of your needle area.
Definitely. All right, so let's see. I think there were a few more questions. Let me just scroll back up here. I think we covered a lot of them about the size. We got Judy. We gave you the name of the machine, NQ3700D. Yeah, so I think that's good. Do you want to show us anything else, or I'll have you switch to your cameras. We'll bring Cindy up, and I will go back through and make sure we didn't miss any of those questions.
Okay. All righty.
Memory pocket. Yes. Does this machine have a memory pocket?
Oh, yes. Everybody's like wowed about the white part. I love that. And if I missed your questions, go ahead and type it again and I can bring it up for you. Someone asked if some of these features are on the Luminaire. Well, the llamas, someone asked if those llamas are any place else, Embroidery any place else, or are they just in this machine?
I think they're just in the NQ series right now. I don't know. I haven't looked on Embroidery to see. They are not in our Luminaire, and the frame identification is not on the Luminaire.
Yeah. And what is the largest hoop for this one?
6 by 10.
6 by 10.
Yeah. So I have it here to do all over quilting.
Oh, yeah.
And it really is a nice size.
Yeah, that's really nice. I see some of you asking about price, and you do need to call your brother dealer for that. We don't have prices here, but this is a midline machine. So to give you an idea of pricing. Oh, Cathy, that's beautiful.
Now, this was just a panel. And so I got the panel and I did that design and did all over quilting with it. I mean, it really does a fantastic job. And wow. I did that with the 6 by 10.
All right, I got a few more questions rolling in here, and then we'll go on to Cindy, and then I'll grab more of these at the end. Which machine has the largest hoop? That would probably be the Luminaire.
It is the Luminaire.
Exactly.
That one. And will the magnetic frame work on some of the older machines? Someone asked. Let me just see. Oh, first I'll go to Wendy's question real quick. Wendy wants to know, because she asked this earlier, will this machine sew with vinyl and leather?
Certainly. Right. You just need to make sure that you have the right needle. Mm-hmm. I mean, with the AHA feature, it'll make it very easy. And the feeding system on these machines, it has the box feed, and it feeds amazingly. So, and it has the longer feed dog, so it does great.
Right. Linda says, what size quilt will this machine handle? Well, there's quite a large area in there.
8.3 inches from the needle to the head of the machine. So whatever you can roll up and fit in there, you're good to go.
What was the inches again?
8.3.
8.3. So if you're looking at really big quilts, then you might want to look at the machine that Jerry showed yesterday. That one had 11.5 or something.
Right.
Don't quote me on that. Might have been 2.5.
Yeah.
How much does it weigh? Sharon wants to know. Is it a good travel machine?
It's 30 pounds.
30 pounds.
30 pounds with the embroidery unit.
That's not bad.
No.
All right, so I'm gonna have Cindy take over and show us the scan and cut because I don't want us to run out of time, but I will still go back and take a lot of your questions, so don't worry. So Cindy, I'm dying to see what's new on the scan and cut. Actually,
Me too. Me too.
everybody is.
Okay, guys. So first you'll notice it has a new cosmetic on the front. We have a different Mickey, and it's now blue and blue. So it's two-tone. Let's hope I have a stylus in here, but it looks like I do not. So, magically, I'll find one over on the other side here in a minute. It has the new Rotary Auto Blade, and let me share a little bit more about the Rotary Auto Blade with you. This is a kit, and it can be purchased for any DX model. So if you have SDX on your machine here, that model can use this Rotary Auto Blade kit. It comes as a kit, not separately as the holder and the blade. You can purchase a replacement blade, but you can't purchase the rotary blade, the holder itself. You'll notice it just kind of twirls, and it has a nice little blade here that does a beautiful job. What's auto about this is that it automatically adjusts the angle. It doesn't care what that thickness of fabric you've had, as long as it's 3 millimeters or less, it will cut it. So it doesn't automatically detect that thickness or the pressure because it's rolling instead of pulling. It doesn't need to do that. It's just like a rotary blade that you would use with your hands. So, I mean, it really is a nice blade. We've cut everything from lace to batting to fleece, from knit. We've cut a wide variety of things with this, and I think you all are going to love it. It comes with 63 rotary auto blade designs. That doesn't mean that's the only designs you can use with it. It's just part of the kit. But those are included with this model. All right, so let's put it in the holder so you can see it. It inserts just like any other with the brother to the front. Press the lever down, and it's good to go. This is one of the designs. Let's see if I can bring it up here. So this is one of the projects that's included with the Rotary Auto Blade kit. And you'll notice we have all kinds of different fabrics in here, all of the different delicate laces. There's organza. There is, I mean, just a wide variety of stuff here. Donna did this one, and she did a beautiful job with it. It really has expanded what we can cut. The one thing that we always hated when somebody came and asked us to cut at a show was craft felt. Truly. So I've got a piece of craft felt, and I have a piece of polar fleece, basically, or whatever you want to call it, plush fleece. And I am going to use my low-tack mat. So here is my low-tack mat. And you'll pick your mat based on what fabrics you're using. So some of the slicker fabrics, you may need a standard mat. A denser fabric like wool, you may need to use the fabric mat. So if it's going to shred, you'll use a lower tack mat, is what I would say. And all I've done here is taken my brayer, and I'm going to adhere it to my low tack mat. And this is not a brand new mat. I've been using it quite a bit. So let's go in here and load our mat in. And then I'm going to take you on a tour of the machine. What else is new in it? While that's loading, I'm going to grab a stylus from the other one.
I'm reading everyone's comments. They're like, "Oh my goodness, this is awesome! The 3D, the rotary blade is really going to make a difference." And I see some of you asking about different fabrics. Will it work? Will work on heavier crepe paper, things like that. So you'll get to see in just a second.
All right. So yes, I have cut crepe paper with it. What else is new on this machine before I go start cutting here? This guy right here. This is huge, and I'll be talking a bit more about him. My Connection is available on both the SDX325 and the SDX330D. And this is where you go to send and retrieve designs between the Luminaire and the Scan and Cut. I'll get into that a little bit more here in a minute. I want to take you back into your patterns. This has the most built-in patterns of any Scan and Cut model that we have, with over 1,400 built-in designs. I believe technically it's 1,485. When you touch and this one has built-in Disney. So when you touch Disney, you'll notice that we have the first 8 categories are what we've had in the past. We have a new category called Disney Applique. That doesn't mean you can just use them for applique, but they have tested them to be able to sew around them, so they are more introduced in that manner. But we have used them for vinyl as well. I want you to see the different items that we have. I mean, they are stinking cute. So let's just pick one. And I'm going to pick something that has 2 parts to it so that you guys can see 2 different fabrics cut at the same time. So let's choose this mini head here. We'll go ahead and touch OK. I'm just going to leave it at the size it is. You could resize it if you want to, but we're just going to leave it alone. I'm going to touch the one that has both parts. If I wanted to have a whole page of these guys, I could select the individual color, but I'm going to go ahead and just select the one that has both parts so I can land them both on my design page at the same time. Now, so that I can move them independently, I'm going to ungroup them and then set them down on the design page. All right. If you are new to Scan and Cut, you may not know this feature. We love our background scan. If you've had your Scan and Cut and you haven't used this, I suggest you use it because it allows you to use every scrap in your arsenal. So it is long. I mean, that is probably how I use my scanner most, is to scan in to see what's on my mat so I don't have to figure out where I need to place my patterns. So here's my patterns, and they're both grouped together right now because they landed on the page. I'll just untap one, take the other and drop it. It is magical being able to visually see that. No grid counting, just place it on there visually. We're going to go ahead and touch OK. I'm going to choose Please Select, and I'm going to choose Cut. Now, as I said, I have 2 different thicknesses of fabric on here. So I'm not going to do a test cut. I'm going to trust that my Scan and Cut will detect what it needs to do. Since this blade rolls and doesn't drag, it doesn't need to test the depth. When I do test is if it's going to be something a little bit more intricate on a tricky fabric. But today, these are not going to be, I'm saying these are not tricky fabrics. Did you hear that come out of my mouth? They are not tricky fabrics anymore because this blade rolls and does a beautiful job. So let's watch it in action. You're going to notice that it stops and adjusts its angle, and it basically just rolls over the fabric. My fabric is not pushing along my mat. It is staying stuck. And as I said, this is the low tack mat. So things that you thought were not possible are now possible without a stabilizer, without stiffening my fabrics. I can use it with quilter's cotton. I have cut crepe paper. I have cut tissue paper. I have cut lace. We have, and I'll show you some of those in a minute. But here is basically a little delicate item that's lace. All right, it's done cutting. Let's unload our mat and take them off. There you go. How easy was that?
That was very easy. Everybody's asking so many questions, so don't worry. I see all these and we'll get to them. But Cindy, while you're over there, everyone's saying, is this the only blade that will work now, or?
Oh no, they're all still valuable. I mean, you're going to pick your blade based on what your project is. So if I'm cutting something with adhesive backing, I'm probably still going to be using my standard auto blade because I don't necessarily want to use my rotary blade for that. It takes a little bit longer for it to cut with a rotary blade than it would do with my standard blade.
Yes.
So let's look in here a little bit more and let's talk about my connection, because this is a really key component of this machine. We've asked for it for years and we finally have it. So what it allows this machine to do is it comes with an activation card for you to unlock my connection on a Luminaire machine. So it is only Luminaire to one of these 2 machines. I'm going to touch my connection and I'm going to choose Send. I can use any of my built-in patterns besides Disney. You'll notice Disney does not show up here at all. So let's just grab one. I'm going to pick one that I've got sewn out over there. I'm going to go into my logo category and I'm going to choose Gather. it's a pretty quick and easy one that we can just nab, and you can see how it looks stitched out. I've got a couple of others over there, but this is a really nice word, and it stitches out beautifully. You'll notice once you land it on the mat that you have gray areas around the outside edge. And I believe Jennifer covered this pretty well the other day. This indicates the largest field of an embroidery hoop on the Luminaire machine. So if you want to, you can come in here and you can choose edit, and you can duplicate it and fill up your page with it. But you do need to stay within the white area. If you put it out here, you'll notice how it grays out a little bit. That's telling you it's not going to get sent over there. So only items that are in the white will be shown when you get over there. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that one and delete the other one. Touch OK. Now, we're here back on our main screen. I'm not going to scan anything in this time. I'm going to touch transfer, and I'm going to send it over to my scan and cut machine. It's telling me that there's data there hiding in the cloud already. Do I want to replace it? Yes, I do. Only one thing can be floating between the both machines at the same time. So let's go over to the Luminaire. Let's see if I can get you in just a hair's breadth closer. There you go. All right, so we're going to touch our Luminaire screen. Let me go home. I was sewing last night, sorry. Let's go to My Design Center. So this is where you're going to retrieve it. And you will do this after my connection has been activated on this machine. The update shows you my connection, but until you put in that code, you will not be able to use it. So we're going to touch the stamp shape key. Once you choose that, you now have a new item. This is retrieve from scan and cut machine. So it's going to update my pocket here. There's my gather. I'm going to touch OK. And I'm simply just going to fill it with color. So let's come grab our flood fill tool, touch the area. It's now filled with color. You could change your colors if you want to. That's up to you. I'm going to go ahead and touch next. Now, I did actually change my outline stitch, and I'll go ahead and do that for you today. So once I'm in this section, since they're all the same stitch, I can link those once I've got my black thread tile up there. Let's come grab a triple stitch. Go ahead, touch OK, and you can change it to the same color if you want. I'm just leaving it alone today. Go ahead and touch set. And it's saying we're leaving here. We're going to go embroider, and there you go. It's ready to embroider. And this is what that one looks like. So this is the gather with my triple stitch. This is one of the designs that's built into the scan and cut machine in the lace designs category that's done just exactly like I did. But wait, there's more. So that is just one little feature that was added. Okay, let's go into embroidery. And I'm going to do a basic item first for you just so you can see if I can remember which category it's in. I think it's actually here. No. I should have thought about this morning. Oh, it's in number 5. All right. And if you didn't notice on the SDX325, this right here is the front panel. It's the design on the front of it. So this is the embroidery design. I'm going to touch memory. It's got an applique in there, and you know that because it's got the scissors. We're going to go ahead and you get a new key, transfer to scan and cut machine. When I touch that, it'll ask me if I want to replace the item that was floating in the cloud, which was the gather. I'm going to go ahead and touch transfer, and it will be at my scan and cut for me to retrieve. That's your basic, but let's go do a little bit more. Now, I'll show you retrieving in a minute, but we're going to retrieve something else. So let's go into embroidery. This is probably my favorite thing of all time. I'm going to come in here and grab this one. You saw that butterfly behind my scan and cut machine. We're going to tap that butterfly and touch set. Now, look at this design. If we go to embroidery and let's look at how many stitches this has in it. It has 58,992. That's going to take me a while to stitch, right? I'm going to return back to edit, touch my edit key and touch my applique key. This is the new key that gets unlocked with my connection. the applique patch for selected colors. You will not see this unless you have my connection. And this guy is the bomb. I'm going to touch what color I wanted to choose, that I want it to make a patch out of. Well, I want my pinks. So I'm going to grab the 2 pink color tiles there and touch next. Since this is going to be a layered applique look, there's going to be stitches over the top of it. I'm going to go ahead and leave it at my light zigzag stitch. If I was going to make an applique out of that totally, and not do anything else, I could go ahead and touch the satin stitch, and it's more of your traditional stitch. But I really want it just to be a light stitch, just to hold it down. So I'm going to choose my light zigzag. I'm going to go ahead and touch next. Now, here's the other fun part. You can come in and tell it you don't want it to sew other colors. So you can say, I don't want you to sew my white. Let me go find the other white color. I can turn off the other white color. Let's go ahead and touch OK. We're now back on our screen, and we are ready to transfer this to our scan and cut machine. So I'm going to touch transfer to scan and cut machine after I touch memory, and go ahead and tell it OK, because it's replacing what's floating out there in the air. We're going to touch embroidery, and now that 58,000 stitches has been reduced to 30,000 stitches, and you can get some really textured look. Let's go over to our scan and cut machine and see what that looks like. So at the scan and cut machine, I'm going to go ahead and touch home.
Sorry, I was just, Cindy, I didn't realize I was on mute. I noticed on that other screen, it went from 98 minutes to 47 minutes. That's a huge difference.
A huge difference. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to my connection and touch retrieve. We're going to choose wireless LAN device because that's where it's coming from. It's coming from your Luminaire. And once it retrieves it, if you choose stitch data, it's just going to be the regular embroidery design. That's not what we want. We've created an applique, so we're going to go ahead and choose the applique key and touch OK. Touch set. You do not have to resize it. It is the perfect size that it needs to be, and you're now ready to scan your fabric in and cut it. So let's look at the design. Stitched. So this guy right here, the pink fabric, is what was done with my connection. Made a huge difference.
That is so cute. That is really cute.
Do we have time for one more, or do we? No, we need to do questions. I'll have to do something else another day.
There are a lot of questions here. And just so you know, Cindy will be back on Tuesday at noon. So mark your calendar for that too. So Cindy, I'll have you come back to the camera with us. There's quite a few questions of comparing like the older models and things like that. So first off, Michelle had a great question because last year the new feature was the fabric mat with the fabric blade. Do you still use the fabric mat with this rotary blade, or do you just use the basic?
It depends on what you're doing. If you don't want to stiffen your fabric, then you can use the rotary auto blade with a low tack or a standard tack mat. If you, it's going to be slower. That's one of the things I'll tell you right off the bat, because it has to adjust the angle. It's going to be a slower cut. If you are not wanting to stiffen your fabric, go for the rotary blade. It is awesome. There's a place in the line for every blade that we have, and a place in the line for every mat that we have. So even though I'm using the low tack mat with my rotary blade today, if I'm cutting wool, a dense wool, I used my fabric mat because it wasn't a fabric that was going to fray, but I needed more adherence to my mat to make sure that it would cut all the way through.
Makes sense. And then there's been a lot of questions. Everyone's asking, does this work with my model? Is the rotary blade, and you mentioned this earlier, but can they purchase it if they have another model, and which models, or in general?
Anything that says SDX on it, you can purchase the rotary auto blade kit. So the 225, the 125s, the
Yes,
230Ds, 230DX, any of those that will work with.
Yeah.
So I mean, I saw a question about, can it cut crepe paper? Hold on. There you go. Can it cut tissue paper? There you go.
Unbelievable. Tissue
Can
paper?
it cut quilt batting? There you go. Organza.
Wow.
Satin. Velvet.
Cindy, you have a lot of scraps.
And I've actually did cut a plush fabric with dots on it. I did cut that one twice because the dots didn't adhere to the mat. So just to make sure that it was going to cut it all the way, I cut it twice. I basically tried it twice, and cutting it twice worked. Flannel without anything on it. I mean, really, guys, it has totally expanded our world. Those wools that we couldn't cut before that were loosey-goosey, you can cut those now.
Oh, this is awesome. All right, so Donna has a good question. What is the difference between the two scanner cuts, the one that we saw yesterday and the one that we saw today? Sarah showed one yesterday.
What comes in the box is different. So with the 325, you get the standard mat and the black auto blade, and the fabric mat and the thin fabric auto blade. You do not get Disney. So there's like over 1,300 designs in that one. It is what comes in the box. So there's no rotary blade and there's no low tack mat in that one. And you also get a couple of, you get the pen set in both of them. So you get the pen cartridge and an air erasable and water erasable pen in both, and you get your little plastic spatula. In the 330D, you get the low tack mat, the rotary auto blade kit, the standard auto blade, and the standard mat. And then, of course, the Disney designs are built in there. So and as I said, there's new Disney in there. There's quite a few. They both have the quilting designs. Other than the Disney content, the content of the embroidery design, the cut patterns are the same, other than the Disney designs.
Okay, that helps a lot.
But there are 63 auto blade patterns, and that quilt back there is one of them.
Oh, wow.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Sherry has a question, speaking of rotary blade, and this is a good one because, we have our paper scissors and we have our fabric scissors. Do you need a rotary blade for fabric and a rotary blade for paper?
You can purchase replacement blades, so you might want to do that. It wouldn't be a bad idea. I personally get confused. If I were going to do that, I'd just get me a new cartridge. I'd get the 2 kits personally, just because then I don't have to figure out which blade's which, because I forget. But now, it all depends on what you want to do. So this is this is done with quilter's cotton. This is one of the designs that's in the rotary auto blade kit, the hedgehog. Donna did a beautiful job on a lot of our samples here. So, really, you have a variety of stuff. The thin,
that's cute.
That's one of the patterns that are in it. There's some really cute things in it. She did an entire banner. This is one of the projects.
Wow.
So there's a ton of stuff. Those 63 cut files are basically, there's really quite a variety of them. We've truly had fun. Did I show you lace?
No, you can cut lace. Okay, I'm sold.
We've really had fun with this one. If you're going to do something really detailed, you're still going to want to use your thin fabric auto blade and stiffen your fabric. It's going to be faster, and you're going to have a better result. Just simply because, think about when you're using a rotary blade itself, it can't stop on a dime. It's going to go just a little bit extra unless you're using fine mode, and it has normal and fine mode. I was using normal mode because it is quicker. Fine mode does a better, more detailed job, but it takes much longer.
Right. So are there specific designs that you can only use this with, or you can use it with any designs?
You can use it. Play and see. I suggest you test. I would not do a little teeny tiny 1-inch snowflake with a whole lot of detail in the middle of it, because it would not be appropriate. But if it were a bigger one, you could do it. I've done it with many of them.
Yeah. This is amazing. I think the quote for the day, Kay says, so what did you call it? The fabric stash arsenal? We're going to start calling it like scrapbook Saturday, scrap cutting Saturday. What can you cut with this new rotary blade?
We can cut a lot of stuff with it. It is a lot of fun to play with. And really, I no longer have to cringe when you come and look at me and say, can you cut my felt?
Oh, yeah.
And I would always have to say, well, if you back it with something, if you put this on it, if you do that. But yeah, I'm not even using good stuff, guys. I'm using a cheap, crappy felt.
Just to be clear.
I'm using the worst stuff you can find out there. No density. It's just nasty stuff. And
it definitely is not a brother product.
No, it's not. I went and bought the cheapest stuff I could find because that's what we've always been asked to do. I've been able to cut really good wool felt. We've been able to do that. But the cheap craft felt, no. So
yeah, definitely. So
Mary, batting was a no-go. So, and batting does a great job. I mean, this one right here is batting. Normal mode.
Wow. Let me bring you up closer real quick. Hold that up one more time.
Batting.
Unbelievable.
With a little bit of thread on it, evidently.
Wow. You know what's interesting is I did a few episodes a long time ago on It's So Easy where I did what they call reverse applique. So I had faux leather that I had cut out and then put a fabric below it. And it was really tricky. I used a longer mat, so I could get a whole skirt in there. But this is going to be a complete game changer. You want to talk about beautiful cutouts for garments? I mean, I'm into that along with the crafting. But I mean, I can just think of some beautiful things to test on this. I can hardly wait.
No, you don't need backing with the rotary auto blade. It does a beautiful job without having backing and without stiffening your fabric.
That's what Jane asked.
That is the advantage of it.
When will this be in the dealer store? You have any idea?
I think I heard end of August, early September.
Okay, that's good.
I think they have landed. So we do have one other new product, but I guess I'll have to wait till Tuesday to talk about it.
What's that?
The new roll feeder. We have a roll feeder too, and there is a difference in the reason that you would do it. So we'll talk about it. I was going to use it in Tuesday's project, and I decided no, I'd be wasting too much vinyl. So.
So now can you just give us a little preview? Can you show them what it looks like?
I can. So it has a new piece on it. It has a felt piece that actually puts pressure on your vinyl, so it allows it to feed through more evenly, as well as it comes with 3 leader sheets. And these leader sheets, and that's really all I was going to show them. The leader sheets just attach to your heat transfer vinyl. So now you can cut heat transfer vinyl without it curling up. This actually, we were going to put heat transfer vinyl in as a project for the Scan and Cut playbook last year, but we couldn't predict what it was going to do to the end consumer because it would curl up on us, and that's not a pleasant experience. So It would get halfway through it, and then it would come back through, and then it would curl up. Now it doesn't do that with that leader sheet and the pressure that's being placed on the vinyl, so it doesn't wiggle woggle in there.
This is another game changer. I just keep saying, and I've said this all week, every single new product, you think, what could Brother possibly come out with that's better than last year? And they did it again. So
that heat transfer vinyl, just imagine being able to go down the side of jeans now. It opens up a whole new world.
Oh yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. I think our live shows for the next year are going to be very creative. We've got a lot planned.
We do.
Josie, is it backwards compatible?
Yes, the new roll feeder 2 is backwards compatible, so you can use it on any machine, any of the DX models, because they're the ones roll feeders.
Excellent. Josie says, thanks. Making sure I don't think I missed anything. Everybody's just saying amazing now. Now it's like, whoa. All right. So just as a reminder, if you are on Facebook, if you share this to your page, you can go back and watch it again if you'd like. You can go visit your Brother dealer and place an order. And once the products are in stock, you can go play around and decide which one you want as well. Don't forget about my favorite Luminaire though. And the Stillaire is still out there. Someone was asking more questions about the Stillaire. Now, one question that did come up, and I think you made it very clear that connection from the Scan and Cut only goes to the Luminaire. Someone was asking about their 10 needle, the Stillaire. It's just with the Luminaire at this point.
It's just with the Luminaire at this point, and you only get that My Connection activation code with one of the new machines. So what I'm so excited about, more than being able to send back and forth, is what it unleashed on my Luminaire. Being able to do an applique on the machine without software, using any design that I have. And I did say any design. I mean, some of them are going to be more suited to it than others, but it's not just what's built into the machine. I can't do Disney. I can still make a patch out of Disney, but I can't use My Connection with Disney. But I mean, it really expands what we can do. And that is, to me, that is just truly exciting. I would have bought it. I would have, if they had offered that as an upgrade to my Luminaire, if they had, but which they didn't, I would have bought that. So
we'll just give them
but
ideas.
I love not having to take the USB out and go over here and do that. And there's no way to bring an FCM file into my design center besides the wireless. And that is nice, clean, beautiful artwork. So you think about it, you have 1,300 designs, over 1,300 designs that are non-licensed that you can send over there and use.
Exactly.
You can use your current Luminaire, but you have to have one of the new Scan and Cuts. That code will unleash it on, after you've updated your machine, onto the XP1 and the XP2.
So Eileen, yes, you can, will it work on your current Luminaire? Yeah, you don't have to buy a new Luminaire. You just have to get a new Scan Cut. That's way better, right?
Yeah, truly. There was one other question that I can answer that I saw earlier. The BES Blue program, if you go back and watch my Tuesday live, you'll hear all about the new brother programs. I covered a large variety of them. So I talked about design database transfer, the advanced design quilt design software program, the new the new BES Blue, and Canvas Workspace got an update, a free update, which is a fill page option, which is awesome. So.
Oh, awesome. So go back to Cindy's page. You can watch that episode. And Cindy's coming on next week, Tuesday at noon, with a super cute project. Are we calling it the chore board, or are we calling it how is school? What are you going to call it, Cindy?
Well, it just depends. They can call it, it's a reward chart. That's
a reward chart. Yes.
So.
And Marilyn, you can call your dealer. They'll be here probably by next month.
We're not sure of exact shipping dates. They should be landing soon. Y'all all know the supply chain issues that everybody's having.
Oh, yeah.
That ship that's out there in the water right now, I don't know what has landed so far. I do know that some has landed and is going through quality control at this point.
Well, perfect. All right, Cindy and Cathy, this has been so informative, and there's been so many great questions. If we missed any of your questions, you can always just ask again. The brother team's always trying to help with that to make sure. You can always message them too. Just checking to make sure I didn't miss any last ones. Oh, what a full week. If you missed the shows from the last 2 days, go back and see a lot of the new products. 6 needle, we've got the quilt club, all the fun things. So thank you so much, though, for joining us today, because I know you could be doing other things, but who would want to do that when you can join us, right? And now we know that our scraps are called Scrap Arsenal. That is.
I mean, we can't call it just scrap fabrics anymore, because we have vinyls and we have papers and we have scraps of all kinds. So it's our arsenal.
It's our arsenal. And Cathy, thank you for all of your great samples. I love those quilts. This has been a great show. So brother, thank you for letting us take over your page. This has been awesome, and I can hardly wait till next week. See you Tuesday at noon. And Cindy, I'll look forward to seeing you're working on something fabulous. Bye everyone.
Bye.
Upsize your creativity with the all-new, all-smart Innovus NQ3700E, only from your friends at Brother. Demo one at your Brother dealer today.